would like to see. I don't mind the linebacker from down south. He's he looks like he's doing what you want him to do. A prospect that you identify early that's starting to show and starting to flourish. But I still would like a guy like we just landed Blake Nicholson in this past class, a guy who's is a 4-star or even a high prospect guy. Those are the caliber of players that you need to bring in. But if we have a class of 2 to 3 linebackers, I think Florida State is very good there, and I expect this to be one of the best DB and wide receiver hauls we've seen in a while. Once Lester commits and a couple other guys, and then at the wide receiver, I think JoJo is probably have a better chance at landing JoJo over Jeremiah, in my opinion. But if we get both of them, you do make room for both of those guys. But even as it stands, we have a really, really good wide receiver recruiting haul going right now, and even better with tight ends. So I think we're going to see if Fox comes in with Thomas, you're going to see that that's 2 of the best recruited tight ends that Florida State's had in over 2 to 3 decades. So I mean that's amazing. So I think they're already down the right track, but I know of what they're gearing up to do because of what the 24 season gives you. You have a bigger chance of making the playoff by losing a game or 2. You're okay. They'll play a lot of young guys, but I still think they're going to leave 5 to 10. I would even say 5 to 7 slots minimum available to try to go get impact transfers in this next class. In particular, I think we're going to see them really do work across the defensive line in a similar manner in which we just did with the offensive line last class.
This past weekend, we had linebacker 2024 4-star linebacker Edwin Spillman on campus. He really enjoyed his visit. He stayed an extra couple hours on Sunday, farther than he expected to. He really liked what he saw at Florida State. He did say he didn't want to make an emotional decision. He wanted to do his other official visits before he made a concrete decision. But Florida State is definitely leading in that recruitment based off of all the interviews that we've had with him. And then we had 2024 4-star offensive tackle Nair Daniels also on his official visit. And I think Florida State leads the way with Daniels, not mildly, but quite handsomely. And I think that Atkins is doing his due diligence there. And a lot of people started asking me this question about the running backs because we've already got Cam Davis out of Georgia, who's a highly talented guy. And obviously he's a huge get for Florida State in the running back room. But if you look at our running backs through the totality of what's still going to be here in 2024, even when he's to come in, Florida State's trying to take 2 running backs. So they had Christian Clark on an official visit this weekend. And he's another top-tier guy. So people were asking me that question, do we expect a lot of guys to leave and stuff to that nature? And you can't wait until people decide to leave to go after the recruits because then it's too late. They're not leaving this year. So if you don't go after this guy, you can't make up for it later on. But what I think Florida State's doing right now, I think they've fell to like 9th or 10th because there's been some schools get some verbal commitments over this weekend. I think that Florida State, with the guys that I know that are silently committed and the ones that we anticipate that are going to commit, and I take that and half it. Like I never think that we're going to get the full realm of guys that have said they're silently committed, and I don't take the full realm of guys that everyone expects us to get. So I cut that in half, and then I put that in as far as the numbers go, and we should have a top 6 or 7 class. That's where we should fall, even if we get half of those guys. If we get more than half, then we fall a spot or 2, 5th, 4th, somewhere around there. So I think this will be the best class that Coach Norvell has landed as a head football coach, period, which means the best he's done at Florida State as well. And I think that what they've done so far in recruiting, we did those numbers on an episode not too long ago. We were talking about how much Florida State spends versus other schools. And Alford had kind of made a statement to me that the numbers were going to look a lot different for this year versus the past years. And that's a good thing because Florida State did a lot of money toward these next 2 or 3 classes. So they're spending more money on recruiting than they have before, which is nice. So I look forward to seeing what it gets done. I don't necessarily think spending more money gets you more guys, but at least it gets more guys there to see you.